The guys you know and trust, talking about the teams you can't live without. This is DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Win big every Wednesday on the Zone with Win Ticket Wednesday. This Wednesday, win tickets to Volbeat, July 19th at the Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater. Don't miss Volbeat's greatest of all tours worldwide with special guests Hailstorm and the Ghost Inside. Get tickets now at livenation.com or listen to the Zone all day Wednesday for your chance to win. Question of the morning. Well, what can you say with Alabama shooting like it did?
Say we had an excellent season for year one, and let's see who we can retain and who can add and get them on campus as soon as possible. And look forward to next season. Get the big shot here and get going. That's what I would say.
Greg says nothing. Hats off to that performance. Jason with the little kid tipping the hat at the Yankee game. Respect.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T, the queen of soul.
David, unfortunately, BYU was on the wrong side of history. They weren't going to win the whole thing, but it would have been nice to see them play against a different style of team. Oh, well. Great season.
Oh,
a different style of team like Houston? There's a different style of team.
Well, they got worked by 20 both times, so
they did.
I don't know that that's...
by 20 and 31. I think the lesson there is against the top 5 or 10 teams in the country, BYU's just overmatched. They had 3 games against 2 teams with 2 different styles and got blown out in all of them.
That'd be both of them, but...
well, there were 3 games, so all of them.
Well, you said 2 teams with 2 different styles. I
only
know the words you say. You said 2 words, 2 teams, 2 different styles.
And I previously said 3 games.
I disagree with that. That they played Alabama once. They didn't play Alabama 3 times. You're making assumptions that I don't know are there.
Well, he said a different style of team.
I don't give a
crap
different
style
what
he
says. I'm talking about what you say. I don't think that if they played Alabama 10 times, they'd get blown out 7 or 8. I don't believe that.
Do you think if they Houston 10 times, they get blown out 7 or 8?
What difference does it make? I mean, we're talking about Alabama here. So Alabama shot the lights out of the ball. Congratulations. Roll Tide. That's what happens. It's like hitting. We see it a million times over. When one guy gets hot and you're up, that takes the pressure off everybody else. They get way more relaxed, and they start feeling it beyond what they're normally capable of doing, and then you have it just steamroll. We've seen it so many times in sports. 2 things I relate it specifically to baseball. I can remember I'm playing Little League, right? It's all-stars. The Par Troy All-Stars, and I'm batting first, and I rip a double down the line. I'm 12 years old, and I can remember this. And one of the guys on the team said, as soon as you did that, I knew we were going to win. Because it just, a surge of confidence just runs through everybody. It's like, oh, this pitcher's not going to overmatch us. And you see that. If they played him tomorrow, if they played him today, would Alabama do that? I don't know. Probably not. Would they win the game? Maybe. I think it's one of those games, away you go. And, I was there covering LMU when they did all those things. And they had the Hank Gathers death, obviously, and they got on a roll, and it petered out against UNLV. But they still had a phenomenal roll. Were they that good? I'm not sure they were, but things were clicking their way. The emotion was there. Everything was there with the tragic death of Hank Gathers, which was 35 years ago. 35 years ago, I was covering that thing. Wow, that's incredible to think about that. And so you just got to credit the other guy. I appreciate Kevin Young saying that he should have come up with something, but I don't know if there was anything that they could do.
If they overcompensated, he brought up in his postgame that Alabama was leading all the power leagues in points in the paint. So they took that away from them, which is something they're really good at. Obviously, you can see the size and athleticism on the front line.
They took it away from themselves. Why
and then
would
they
you
just
be
hit the
going in
threes
for 2s when you can make 3s?
Well, at the start, they took it away from them. I mean, later on, you're right. You're looking for 3s because you're feeling it after a while.
Yeah, and 3 minutes into the game.
And Sears, who had been the guy for them for so long and had 6 miserable games shooting would be the equivalent of you batting leadoff as a 12-year-old. When the whole team's seen him shoot all year long, in practice, in games, and when he starts hitting a couple, they had to be thinking, oh, he's back.
Right. Exactly. Yes. Precisely. Well said. Yeah. And then I just think, well, if we're going to win this game. Our best player is a left-handed Steph Curry tonight. No one's going to beat us. I'm not sure Duke would beat them. And I think Duke has the best team in the game right now. If they played, which they will tomorrow, obviously, if they equate 25 of 50, throw out that last one that at the end of the first half, if they hit 25 of 50 from 3, Duke is going down.
Good news for Duke. They're not going to go 25 of 50.
Right.
That was really good shooters, executing really well, and then the shots went in on top of it.
Staggering.
It was even before they shot it though. There's teams that shoot the 3. Quinn Snyder's teams, it's not exact, but largely the 3-point shooters were usually in the same spot waiting, and if Joe Ingles was open in the corner, he got the ball. And then there are other teams, and you see more of it now with the way the Jazz play. There's more movement off the ball, and guys are moving. The Alabama guys are moving. They do the thing where the computer tracks how far they run in the game. Man, I think their shooters covered a lot of ground. BYU would go to help, and they turn around to recover, and the guy wasn't there. He'd move somewhere else. Everybody was shooting with their feet set. Most of the shots were pretty open. You still got to make them, and people miss open shots with their feet set, but their execution was awesome, and then their shot making on top of it, it was freakish.
You should miss 60 to 65% of them.
And yet, they missed 50.
And then BYU compounded it by shooting 6 of 30. And then, as we talk about the surge of confidence on the Alabama side, the desperation level of panic. This is a go home if you lose, advance if you win type thing. There is no tomorrow. And so then that ball starts getting heavier and the rim starts getting smaller and all that stuff. And they shoot 6 of 30 for 20%. They're better than that. But on Thursday night in Newark, New Jersey, no, they weren't.
88 points, that ought at least have you in the game. But the last 5 minutes, there was no game to be had. Maybe even longer than that.
No game to be had indeed, yes. I don't think they got anything to hang their heads about. I don't think they got embarrassed. It's more about Alabama.
Most people say that, Brady. It was a great run. BYU's defense has been their Achilles heel all year when they don't shoot well. Truthfully, BYU got to where they did because they were usually shooting lights out. Not against Houston because they lock you up.
Right.
Alex went with a shorter take. Tots got burnt.
Yeah, I'm glad that story's over for a bit. I got tired of that in a real hurry. It was fun and all that, but I'm about the game. Oh, you want to play that up? Fine. Now see who's going to stay, who's going to go, who you can get, and get going on next season. Next season has an opportunity to be better.
Upgrade the talent.
I have to see who's leaving.
Absolutely.
I know other starters. I got Mag and Nell gone. Demon, are you going to go? Take the money, son. Saunders, what are you going to do? The bench guys, you got Foosball's gone, and Trey Stewart is gone. Who's going to come back? Catchings, I wouldn't think he would stay. His aunt went on social media X and ripped Kevin Young twice in tweets. That's not very good.
Not a good sign.
No.
Not a good sign for his long-term future in Provo.
Right. Yeah.
So out of the 10 rotation guys, just you running through it real quick, that's 4 guys gone, a 5th guy probably gone, and 3 other maybes out there.
Yeah, I think if you factor in Catchings, it's 11 guys. But, yeah. So, if Saunders comes back, it's huge. If Agor comes back, it's huge. But I don't know what's going to happen there. And you got the number 1 recruit, and then away you go, man. They should be better. If they can maintain Saunders and Demon, that's huge. Just gigantic, obviously. But you never know. I mean, 2K might see greener pastures. Who knows the way things are going with these guys.
Cade is still only a junior, has another year, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Does Boscovich want to come back? He's a foreign dude. and obviously can have opportunities overseas if he chose. Is he interested? He sort of had an up and down season with playing time and production. What goes there? I don't know. I don't know what. I couldn't tell you on any of these guys that I would be, oh man, he's coming back. I thought Jim Jackson made a good thing, a good point. He's obviously an ex-NBA player, talking about, well, for Agor, he can stay and be a top 5 pick next year. That's true. There's no guarantee, but that he was surmising that and seems to really like it with Travis Hansen and the girlfriend on the women's team and all that. Who knows if she'll stay? But you got that going on there. So it's going to be a very interesting next few weeks. I would imagine these guys would be making decisions sometime in April here and see what we got. They have potential to open up maybe as a top 15 team because they've never had a player come in with this kind of hype. I mean, they're showing him. They talked about it at length. He was there. His parents were there.
I would suppose, given where they were in the NCAA tournament and the hype for him, that's a safe guess. I mean, rosters are going to change so much. I have no idea, but it's hard to believe that with all the hype DeBonsa has had, and with the fact that they got a new coach who's just shown he can get a team to the Sweet 16. Yeah, I wouldn't think that they're going to be ranked 23rd or unranked or something like that. So, top 15 sounds safe. I guess we'll just have to see how all these teams land.
I think they'll be in a good spot because if assume Catchings is gone and a couple others go, even if Saunders would go, that they would be able to get impact transfers of their caliber to replace them. I mean, you got to understand, Saunders has got to think, hey, I had a big breakout season. There's no question about that. But is the ball going to be in my hands as much? Because you really got to feed this other kid here. It's so much hype. If this kid doesn't flourish in the manner that Cooper Flagg did, where Flagg was the man, everything else is the man, everything else is secondary. He is the guy. And if you get that kid, you cannot have a bust because then it's going to be on you because it's going to be right on the heels of Cooper Flagg. And a lot of people say that AJ can be better than Cooper Flagg. Remains to be seen, but the point is that this kid has to flourish or it's going to blow up in your face. So Saunders has to think, I basically can shoot whenever I want. Now, is that going to be the case? Am I going to play second or third fiddle and my stock is actually going to decrease my senior year after he never may be as hot as he is right now as far as the NBA? He's got to consider all of that.
That is easy to believe. And is he going to get 11 shots a game next year? Because DeBonsa isn't coming in to take 5 or 6.
Right.
There's no way.
Right. He's going to expected to have the impact that Flagg has had. And Flagg he's knocked it out of the park this year. He's a phenomenal player. And that's the standard. The standard has already been set by this kid over here. Because they're about the same size. Blah, blah, blah. Skill set incredible. So what Flagg has produced, DeBonsa, I'm not necessarily talking about the team. He's going to argue Duke has a better team or will have a better team. I'm talking about the individual and who is the focal point of the offense.
He's going to be expected to go out and have these 25 and 30-point games just like Cooper Flagg has.
Right.
So he's going to get a lot of shots.
Right. And so does Saunders want to take a back seat to that? Maybe he does. Maybe he feels that this is too good a situation. I'm getting paid too much money. Whatever they gave me this year, renegotiate and get more.
What is here from the NBA as far as where does he get drafted?
Mm-hmm. All that stuff, yeah.
Right. I mean, it's one thing to have your college coach say you can do it. Now, if he goes out and he's a second round.
College coach. He's an NBA guy. Are you kidding me?
But he's also your college coach in your corner and is going to say you're going to get the best possible take from him.
Kevin Young is the most impactful NBA guy since Red Auerbach.
If Saunders hears he's going to be the 20th pick in the draft, there's a pretty good chance he's gone. If he hears he's going to be the 40th pick in the draft, and if BYU has a big old NIL check for him, then maybe it's a different deal.
Right, the money. Right, and Agor, the same thing. BYU is going to have to pay to. And when the booster said you will not outbid us, that includes the NBA. People just think that meant college. No,
bringing guys back for bringing back fifth-year seniors.
It's not Kentucky and Duke and North Carolina
exclusively
that he was talking about. Yeah. It's about the NBA. And if they pay him the difference that he can get in the NBA, speaking of Agor, he very well could come back. He made that known to Kevin Young before the season.
So what will these guys do?
Right.
And where will the program go from here?
Yeah.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. David Locke talking Jazz at the top of the hour. Stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I present...
This is JJ and Alex.
Now, one thing that was thrown out there, this article starts talking about how you fix the draft odds at the All-Star break. Then you don't get this late season tanking situation. Well, the problem is you get the early season tanking situation, right?
Yeah,
So
what's the difference?
The difference is I guess the basketball in theory would be better right now. But if a team is bad enough to where they are tanking, like what makes them want to play super hard? Let's say that the Jazz, for example, would they have actually had a better record? Would their record have been, would they have 25 wins right now? 30? Doubt it. And so saying that the mid-season, like, hey, you can only tank for half of the year because then that's going to fix the late season tank. I don't know if that fixes it necessarily. I think that the NBA is in a spot where they have bigger problems than just the tank. It's the whole attitude of, I'm okay missing a bunch of games even though I'm the superstar of this team.
Catch JJ and Alex afternoons from 3 to 6. Presented by G2G Bars on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.